All right, and I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Happy PA week, everybody. Thank you all for being on. Hope everybody is enjoying their week. Abby, I know, has been working hard on kind of sharing some posts and things throughout the week, and it's been nice seeing several different employers and hospitals and things like that kind of post their PAs around, and so enjoyed seeing all that. So hope everybody's enjoying their week. I don't think we have any new introductions or any new members on tonight's meeting. And so we'll move on from there. Can I have a motion to approve our meetings, our minutes from our previous meeting? Carol, raise your hand. You're on mute, but I think that was a motion by Carol. Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All your seconds. All in favor, remain silent, and any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Just some quick reminders that we ask everybody on the board to serve on a committee. I believe everybody has been active there, and so but if you are not plugged in and want to kind of get more, or if you're interested in trying out the other committees, they're open, of course, to all board members and to other ARAPA members. If you have any friends, colleagues who are interested in getting a little bit more involved, maybe they don't want to run for a formal BOD position, they're always happy to sit in on a committee meeting, learn a little bit more about what's going on, and get plugged in there. We don't have a whole lot of new business that I want to discuss tonight, but there was a couple things that I wanted to bring up and kind of bring to a vote, some issues that different members had brought to me, and so I wanted to bring those up for a vote tonight. One of them is looking at adjusting our BOD meetings, and so we have these meetings on the second Thursday every quarter. But most of our other committee meetings are on Tuesdays, and I've heard from a few members that Thursdays might be a conflict. And so I wanted to see if anybody would be opposed to switching it to a Tuesday. My proposal would maybe be the fourth Tuesday, and it would be every quarter. So our next meeting is in January. And so I wanted to maybe push it to the fourth Tuesday. Reason for that just being we have our other committee meetings that run on schedules, have other Tuesdays picked. And so the fourth is pretty open every month. And so that was my consideration. But does anybody have any comments, concerns, issues with that?
I don't. It's a good
Great.
idea.
Okay. Everybody's cool with Tuesdays. The other question there is we've had them at 8 o'clock. Does that time, I know some people have said that's kind of late, but for those that have kids, that seems to be a good time. So is 8 o'clock still good? Do we want to look at moving it up earlier? Do we like where it's at? Abby says 8 is good. I'm seeing some nods. So if nobody's opposed to keeping 8, that seems to be the easiest. So
8's my bedtime, but what can I say?
But you'll say it for us. Yeah, well, I don't hear any opposition there. And so are any discussion there or any other concerns, comments? If not, is there a motion to move the time of our BOD meetings? I don't know if that's officially a motion because that's not like something in the bylaws, but I think it wouldn't hurt to have a vote for it.
I can motion to move it to Tuesdays.
So we're looking at fourth, or I guess, can we verify? Yeah, fourth Tuesday every quarter. Okay. And then Jesse raised her hand. I'm going to take that as a second. All right. All in favor, remain silent. And any opposed? All right, so that'll put our next, and I'll adjust it. I have the dates coming up later, so that'll put our next BOD meeting on January 28th. I'll adjust the calendar meetings accordingly, so everybody should be. When we're done here, I'll adjust the invite, so you should get some updated calendar invites soon. One other item I wanted to bring up, and so we had I talked to some members about potentially adjusting our membership dues for board members. And so currently, you know, we require to run for a BOD position that you have to be an active ARAPA member and keep that membership active while you're serving on the board. But we, you know, we're kind of talking and thought that that may be a barrier to some for being able to run for a BOD position, maybe a financial barrier. And so thought that we could maybe, I don't want to, I don't know, there was some concern about if we were to, you know, completely waive the fees for everybody, but maybe just have a clause in the bylaws that say if it were a financial barrier that ARAPA could cover those costs and waive them while you're an active BOD member. One, you know, kind of thought for that being is I know myself and several other people, and I don't know how many of us on the board, but have my employer cover some of my professional expenses. And so I'm okay letting them continue covering them while I'm an active board member. But in the future, if maybe they weren't, that would, you know, maybe be a consideration. But, you know, so for those of us who have employers covering or, you know, are able to cover that and want to still do it, they would still, you know, could still pay those fees. But for members who, you know, it may otherwise be a burden, we could look at waiving those fees. So do we, what are some thoughts, comments on that?
I guess I don't know why it would be a burden. What are our membership dues? 125?
100.
100. Okay, unless it's a student, I could see it could be.
And the students are
Burdensome
not,
for
the
a
students are
student.
not that high.
Oh, okay, all right. I have my employer cover the more expensive things, so I usually pay ARAPA myself.
Mhm. The thought that was brought to me was just kind of also the thought of like, you know, it's a volunteer position, but it is, you know, some work time. So, you know, paying to be a member and then also, you know, spending that time it may also be an incentive to be able to run for a BOD position, to be able to get that membership fee covered. You know, maybe can serve as an incentive in that way. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. I just realized. I'm so sorry. I'm sitting here looking at it myself because I have two monitors, but I realize that you all can't see it. Apologies there. Does anybody else have any thoughts? Is that something that we want to consider, or do we want to not really wait? Yeah, Jesse.
I feel that most people, you know, there's plenty of people that would want to help and volunteer for ARAPA and not have cost be an issue. Um, I feel like it's, you know, $100 really isn't that much. And if we make a statement to where, oh, well, if you're, you know, if you're part of this, then you don't have to pay for your membership, then not that anyone would take advantage of that. I don't know. I feel like it's really not a huge burden. I don't know. Maybe somebody else can weigh in. I just feel like keeping it the way it is. Because for me, yeah, you're volunteer. I mean, I feel like most people are gonna say the same thing. You're volunteering your time because you want to. You don't need any like reimbursement for that because it's for this cause.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good thought.
I just don't know
I
why
think-
anyone would want to be on the board if they weren't willing to be a member.
So one thought I've had is we're really trying to continue to like invigorate new life into ARAPA and to kind of recruit some of our students who are serving in a lot of positions as students to continue that involvement. But I remember that first year of being a PA, money is tight. And so if there's any way we could continue to incentivize some of our newer PAs who are excited about the profession, but maybe aren't financially able to commit. I mean, 100 doesn't seem much to us who have been practicing a long time, but I know it is kind of early on. This isn't saying we're waiving all BOD position dues, but just if there is a BOD member who's in need, they could have that opportunity.
Ooh, or maybe a way to do that to where it's, you know, we could say first time, like if you're getting a position for the very first time, then it's waived that first that first, however long the term is. And then after that, if you wanted to do it again, you would pay.
Yeah, but I don't know why anybody would want to stay then.
One thought I did have before is we would, to run for position, you have to be an active member. That's already in our bylaws. And so I guess they would, if somebody's running for a position, they would have already paid their membership and been a fee or paid the fee. But then like when it's time for them to renew is when we would look at waiving it. So I guess, so I don't know exactly how we would word that as far as, for first time and things like that. And I see your point, Carol, to that, if somebody is dedicated to being on the board, then, they're probably dedicated to being a member, and we want to make sure we maintain them as a member too. But I know that we have struggled in the past few years to sometimes recruit board members. Our last at least 3 elections that I've been involved in running the elections, every position has been uncontested. And we've kind of had to personally, kind of ask people to run for positions and things like that, which has been great. And we've had great volunteers, but we don't seem to have an excess of volunteers. And so I think, to Audra's point, if there's something we can do to help invigorate that, I want to make sure that we just are able to keep volunteers coming, basically. Any other thoughts on that? I think it may, since there's, seems to be, there's a lot of discussion in here. I don't think, and we're also not having elections really soon anyway. We can maybe table this for another meeting. Audra and I can kind of look and maybe create some actual draft language. That way we can, have something more specific to look at the next meeting, and kind of talk about if that's still a good idea or not. And so if there's no other discussion points, I'll just kind of table this for a future meeting.
Okay.
All righty. I skipped one thing. I just wanted to, speaking of that, I wanted to give a quick reminder. We voted last meeting to move our election terms and our BOD position terms. So typically we would have elections coming up in November, and we would start a new BOD on January 1st. But we voted to move our elections to May and to start our terms on July 1st. And so everybody will remain in their current position until June 30th, and we'll start having elections in May. So we'll figure that out at our next few BOD meetings. But just as a reminder, you're not going anywhere just yet. We're going to move on to CME conference updates. Ada was not able to be on tonight, so her and I had a brief talk, and I'm just going to give some of these updates. So follow up from our 2024 conference, we do still have on-demand activities available on the site until March 8th. And so if anybody is interested in those, or once again, if you have colleagues, feel free to share that word. Abby, I don't know if we talked about this in the last communications meeting, but I know we've got a lot of stuff going on the next few months, but we may need to, I don't know if you have posts scheduled to kind of do reminders of that, but we may want to do 1 or 2 more. And I'll look at doing an email blast to just reminding people that those are still available before they go away. Making myself a note to send that on demand. And then for 2025 plans, so our conference is scheduled March 7th and 8th in Little Rock at the Marriott. Registration's active, so if anybody is planning to go and wants to go ahead and register, you can. There's, of course, still plenty of time, but you're able to go ahead and register for that. We are having our social event on Friday night at Dust Bowl Bowling Lounge downtown. Really cool place if you've never been there. I'll click real quick here on our agenda. This is our tentative agenda for the conference, and so we're really excited about some of the topics we've got. It's not quite complete, and so we are still looking for a couple speakers to fill some of these spots. And so again, if anybody on here is interested in speaking, or of somebody that would be a good speaker, please let Ada know. She's kind of helping coordinate a lot of that. And so we've got a few different things on here: hepatitis C, female hormone replacement therapy, irritable bowel disease. We have requested another speaker from AAPA, like we had this last year, but we haven't heard back from them about who is available. And so we're waiting on that, but we're hoping to have them be an opening speaker on Saturday morning. One of the things that she wanted me to mention, we are looking at having a RAPA BOD panel on Friday afternoon to close it out. Thought behind this was we kind of got some questions and some feedback from people who attended last year that they wanted to hear more about RAPA and, you know, wanted some opportunities to kind of learn more about what's going on. And so we thought it'd be a good idea to have kind of a question and answer panel. Not exactly sure what that's going to look like yet, but the kind of thought would be that I would moderate as the president and have the have the committee chairs and some of the board members you know, be present to kind of share about what their role is on the board, what their committee is doing, and how RAPA is, you know, working in Arkansas. And so if that is something that you would like to participate in, we would love to have some different BOD members there. Does anybody, are we planning on attending? Does anybody know for sure that they're able to come to the conference? Anybody know for sure that they're not able to come those dates?
What is the date again? 7th and 8th?
Correct. Yeah. Friday, Saturday.
Okay. I'm planning to attend.
Okay. I know Abby says she's planning to come. Carol, great. Audra, I know will be there. I believe Will, yeah, I know he's not on tonight, but I believe he's planning to be there for the legislative. And so we can send out some further information too, but just make sure you're keeping that on your calendar. We'd love to have, even if you don't want to participate on the panel, we'd love to have as many board members present as possible. Jessie says she's going to be there. Great. So we'd love to have everybody, you know, present if possible, just to kind of meet members and, you know, it's a good time for us to all see each other in person too. We only meet quarterly virtually. So, you know, it's really good to be able to see everybody in person. And so be thinking about that and keep that on your horizon. We are working on getting some marketing items through. And so I know she and some of our other committee members have started ordering some of our like swag items, the things that we give away, and the prize items too that we've done for like prize drawings and things like that. She's going to be working on ordering our folders and getting a list from the APA of their members so we can get their email list to send out blasts to kind of help market the event. And then we're planning on doing an Evite. In years past, we've done a postcard, but we did a survey at the end of this last conference and found out that not very many people said that they heard about the conference from the postcard, and we spend a lot of money sending that out. I think it's one of those things that, you know, snail mail may get lost. So we're looking into, you know, just sending more e-blasts and possibly looking into some like paid advertising as well. We don't have any registrants thus far, but of course we're still like 5 months out. So, but we do have one sponsor already registered. So that's really great. We are looking for more sponsors. And so what we're encouraging the people on the CME committee, but I'm going to encourage everybody on here as well. If you are practicing and you run into, you know, vendors or you have different marketers come through your clinic, just let them know that we're having a conference. You can give them my email, which is the president at Arkansas PA, and I'm helping coordinate that, or direct them to our website, and there's information on there that they need. And so just let them know that we're having a conference, and, you know, we're interested in having sponsors there. And so a lot of them, pretty much everybody I've talked to is, you know, when I talk to them, seems very interested, and a lot of them are looking for those. They may, of course, not end up being able to come, but, you know, we would love to have as many of them there as we can.
How much does a sponsor cost? I mean, what does it cost to be a sponsor?
There's varying levels. There's a packet that I have that we can send out, and then it's all on the website too. But it starts at, for our like nonprofits, it's I think $250 for one day, and then it goes up to our lunch sponsor is like $10,000. So there's quite an array, but there's several spots kind of in the middle there too. Ada is pregnant and due in December, if anybody did not know that. And so she's going to be out for maternity leave for a little while. So Audra is going to kind of step in and help chair the CME committee. Any questions about CME updates, comments on conference? Okay. Can move on to legislative committee. Carol, you want me to run through some of this, or do you want to do it? Or
I hate to tell you this, but I can't see it.
Okay, I'll run through and then I'll let you.
Wait a minute. Wait, let me try these glasses. Maybe
Okay.
that'll help.
I can run through it and then let you fill in. And
Okay.
so-
All right. I can see it now.
okay.
Okay, so, well, we're going to start with Act 303. Oh, have all of you received in notices from your employers or, regarding the change in Act 303 that it can't be enacted? They've got it on hold for right now. Most of them, it wasn't explained. They just said it was going to be on hold and they were going to implement it. And there's been a problem with another part of the plan that enacts this. And CMS has requested clarification from Medicaid. So they cannot implement the changes until after this is rectified. It doesn't have anything to do at all with PAs. It has to do with some other aspect of things they're changing at Medicaid. They're making a lot of changes all at one time. So that will get rectified and then Act 303 will get put into place, but all of the people that bill Medicaid, all of the providers have been notified that they can't allow PAs to be rendering providers direct billers until after they can get this all taken care of. It will go into place, just we don't know when at this point, but they are being really good about keeping us updated and staying in touch with us. Anything you want to say about that, Aaron?
Nope, and I'm waiting on some more official communication from Medicaid. They're supposed to be sending us a memo, and so I'll distribute that to our members. They're supposed to distribute it all to, all the PAs that they have in their system, but I know that doesn't get to everybody, so we'll distribute that as well.
Right.
But as of right now, if you are seeing Medicaid or if you talk to, colleagues that have questions, you should be able to bill the same way you were billing before July 1st. We just can't do our rendering provider status, which we thought was active, which is unfortunate.
Which
Like,
means you will have to have a cosigner for your Medicaid patients.
so that's what we're waiting on to be clear from them. And that's what I said at the last meeting, that they said that there was no actual requirement for that. A lot of that's decided at the practice level. So yeah, that's where I'm waiting on their official communication.
Okay, very good. PA Day at the Capitol was great. We, considering that there were a lot of other things going on at the Capitol that day, we had 10 meetings with legislators. We did get several who just came out and told us we're interested in sponsoring bills or working with you. So we have written down all of their names and we are going to stay in touch with them and let them know about legislation that we're going to be proposing in 2025. Let's see. Okay, so the legislative goals for 2024, the Medicaid PCP status and the licensure compact. So we're working on both of those. We have sent draft legislation to Representative Springer. Did we also send it to Pilkington, Aaron? I think we did.
Yes, yeah, we've sent it to a few. I don't know that anybody submitted it, but we've sent it to a few legislators.
Okay, so in our meeting at the Capitol on PA Day at the Capitol, a senator from Northwest Arkansas, Clint Penzo, is very pro PA, and he certainly is willing to sponsor some things for us. And there were a couple of others too who said they would. Another representative, Ashley Hudson. So we're working on that. We haven't heard anything, I don't think, Aaron, from Representative Springer at this point.
Yeah, still waiting on follow-ups, but we're working on all that.
Okay. Let's see. We're requesting an info session to brief members and interested parties through AAPA. Oh, on the licensure compact, yes. So that they can give us more information about how it's going on a national level and how it actually works. And we've had several questions come up about the licensure compact on whether or not you're actually licensed in the other states or just granted privileges. And what happens if disciplinary action, if you're only granted privileges in a state other than where your original license is from, who provides the disciplinary action? And is it, you can maybe be disciplined in one state, but not in the other. That's kind of unclear. And I think that we are going to have to get some clarification on that. Let's see. Anything about those two things, Aaron, that you want to add? Okay. And then delegation to medical assistants. We are working with the Nurse Practitioners Association and also with the Medical Assistants organization to draft some legislation so that PAs and advanced practice registered nurses can delegate to MAs. Right now, the law states that only physicians can delegate to MAs. And of course, that means that if we try to do it, we have to get a signature from, or the physician has to put the order in, which is really a pretty cumbersome situation. So we are only, we're going to try, and we've worked with AAPA, and we have a meeting coming up October 16th with the MA organization, Arkansas State Organization, and also the Advanced Practice Nurses Association to put together some legislation. There's going to be a meeting in November, I think, right? We have to get that. We're going to submit draft legislation in November is, I think, what the agenda is. So we've requested information. There are 4 other states that AAPA has sent us some language in the laws they've adopted, advanced practice providers being able to delegate to MAs, and they've sent us 4 different states, their language, their in their laws, and then also they provided us with a model of draft legislation that we haven't had a chance to look at really yet, but we will, because that's next Wednesday, I think, that we have the meeting with the nurses and the MAs. The other thing is that this would, I think, if I remember correctly, this is only going to include certified medical assistants. Is that correct? Or are we talking about unlicensed people?
Yeah.
Okay,
so-
because I
so-
noticed in the draft legislation, it said unlicensed.
Yeah, that was the guidance that we received from the Medical Society and from AAPA, was to just not touch that language.
Oh, just leave it as unlicensed. Okay, good. And let's see what else is there. Oh, we are hiring a lobbyist, everybody, and we have actually selected one, Universal. Is that their name, Aaron?
Universal
Yes.
Strategies.
Yes, and we have not signed the contract yet, but they seem eager to start working with us, and we are waiting. We have applied for a grant for a lobbyist from AAPA, and we are waiting to hear from AAPA if we will get the grant and for how much it will be before we actually sign the contract with the lobbyist. But we are going to have a lobbyist because we have a lot of legislation that we're trying to push. Let's see.
Yeah, I think that's covered.
That's it. Okay. I had a question I was going to ask you about one of these things, but I'll think of it and ask somewhere else in the meeting.
Any questions about legislative updates or comments on anything? A lot going on there, so if you're interested in becoming involved there, let us know. We're definitely gonna, need some help once we actually get to session, which starts in January. We're hoping to, have these bills submitted, but then, once they are, we'll, be looking at some grassroots efforts. So, trying to ask our members and all of you to, email or contact your representatives, asking them to support these different bills. So be looking out for that communication.
Yeah, and one of the reasons we may not have heard from some of the people in the legislature is that it is an election year. And I don't know how hard they're campaigning.
Well, if there's no other discussion there, we can move on to communications updates.
Yes. Our committee made a goal this year for each regional director to host a social mixer or a regional event in each of their regions. And the directors have done such a good job rolling this out. We've had 4 of our 5 events, and we're learning. I think the regions that are in bigger areas have been more successful than the ones that are kind of in more rural areas. But big thank you to each of the directors who have put in lots of work to make these events happen. And then we have a goal to feature more PAs. We're really good at featuring PA students on our social media accounts, but we would like to feature more practicing PAs. We've had each regional director nominate someone from their region for us to highlight, and I'm reaching out to those people. But also, if you have someone that you think would be great for us to feature on social media, there's a link on our website. If you could go on and just put the person's name and a little bit of info about them. Or if you would like to be highlighted, we'd be happy to highlight y'all too. Let's see, we sponsored a popsicle party at UAMS in July. Erin attended and gave a short presentation. And we have plans to attend Harding in December. And then let's see, Ada and I attended the UAMS 5K this last weekend. We had a booth with some Arapa swag. So Arapa was represented there. And let's see, that's all for me, unless anyone has any questions.
Abby, have you reached out with Harding, and do we have a potential date for that?
I have not. Reading this is a good reminder.
Yeah, if you need help with that or anything, let me know. I know Audra, you said you would potentially be available just depending on the date. But if there's anybody else that would be interested in attending that event, let me or let Abby know. We're going to try to schedule a date with them soon. Last week we had it like the first or second week of December, and it was with their graduating class. And I know that they said that they wanted us to have it sometime around then as well.
Jesse, did you have something?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yes. How many people were at Allen's?
One person attended Allen's.
Yeah, we only
boy.
had one.
So
Did you know
hard to
them?
know.
No, I didn't actually. Well, I
Oh,
knew
gosh.
her husband, but yeah. There
Oh
was
man. Oh man. Okay. Nobody's RSVP'd yet to mine.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get 2 of the PAs that I work with in Hot Springs to come. I'm
smart.
gonna be so embarrassed if no one RSVPs.
Well, you can't control it. And I think part of it is just like the effort. Like we haven't done it in your region before. So
Yeah.
We're kind of just learning as we go. I have 2 posts scheduled coming up for your event. And I'll do an email blast as well.
Okay. Guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like she said, I think it's great that we're reaching out and starting these events because it's kind of a new thing for us. So, it's a kind of trial and error. If it's, not a huge turnout, we are still, hosting these events and trying to become more involved. To that, I know our Little Rock event had more attendees or the last minute RSVPs. Sarah, is that correct? So, I mean, you may not, we're still a few weeks out. I thought Sarah was on. She may not be on anymore. We're still a few weeks out, so you may not get RSVPs, right away. But I know that when I was talking to Sarah earlier this week, she had like 3, and then the day of, like 10 people texted her. So, may not be as many, of course, in your region than that are in Little Rock, but you still may get some last minute. Any other comments on communications updates? Thanks for that, Abby. All right, we're gonna move on to finance updates. Ryan?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, I'll give you some updates on our account values first. Our general account fund has $74,312.60. We also have an outstanding CD currently that's valued at $51,642.38. That CD currently is at 4.64% interest rate. The maturity date is November 29th. So when we're done with a couple of these points, we may want to take a vote on whether we want to go ahead and do a new CD at that maturation date, since our next meeting will be in January. The total amount of monies between those two is $125,954.98. Any questions on the account values at all?
Yeah, I know we was
No.
talking with Autumn, and she did want to make sure that we had, enough money to cover CME expenses in our general fund. And so we were kind of going back and forth debating on if we should renew the CD or maybe renew it at a lower, and correct me if I'm wrong. So it matures on November 29th, and we can choose to keep everything in there or do a lower amount or higher.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. It'll roll over if I do nothing at whatever the current CD rate is at that time. And I think we're doing 8-month CDs, or they're 7 or 8 month. I'll have to look back, but and so we can renew it, at a lower amount. So if we wanted to do, $30,000 and keep about 23 back and add that to our general fund, that puts us close to $100,000 in the general fund. We can do that.
That was the number I was thinking, maybe keep 30 and get us that. Yeah. So you were thinking right where I was on. I want to say that we are good, but I also don't want us to be in a pinch where we can't pull money. Just because we're also looking at hiring the lobbyist. I'm pretty confident that we should hear from APA soon about our grant amount, but I don't want to say for sure. And so, yeah, like you said, since this is our last meeting before that matures, that would maybe be what I think we should look into is keeping 30,000 in there. And then once we're done, so that'll be 8 months from then. So put us to like July. So once we're kind of through conference and through legislative session, and we can look at it again, and we should be good then for a while as far as needing a lobbyist for at least 2 years. So we could look at upping it again to get some of that interest.
Sure, I think that's reasonable. And just to give you all an idea of, the last 2 CDs we've had, so it's probably about 15 months total. We've generated about $2,800 in interest. So this has been a valuable
Great
thing that we've done.
Yeah, no, that was a great idea. I'm glad that you brought that up recently.
Right.
I had 2. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, have you noticed what current interest rates are for, it's at region, right?
Yes, that's correct. I'm kind of locked at regions. So the Feds just lowered it by 50 basis points. So I think that probably reflects, at least the thought is that they're going to decrease it another 25 points at the next meeting. I think that's next month or maybe December. I am not sure off the top of my head. I was looking really quickly here, but I would expect it's probably going to be like low 4s, I would guess.
Do they ever run any specials where, maybe you don't do 8 months, you do 6 and they give you a slightly higher rate?
They have. So, okay, there you go. I just pulled it up currently. So they have a 3-month CD right now that they're running at 4.5%.
Yeah.
A
That's not very long,
6-month currently at 4.25, right?
Yeah, that's quite a bit lower. Okay. But I mean, we can't control that, but thank you.
Right, sure.
Did you have something else, Ryan, that you were saying?
Oh, sure. A couple other things that I've gotten done since the last meeting. The PO box is officially transferred to Fayetteville from Little Rock, which will be nice. We have a post office right down the street from my work, so it's easy for me to check on and keep our checks updated a little more easily. So that's nice. And I think we have it reflected now on our website. I looked and we have the current address now listed there for Fayetteville, which is good. I think we do. I'll need to go back and look. I think we have some various documents in our shared, Google documents where some of them still have the old address. So I'll have to go back and look through and see if I can find some and update some headers on there.
I've been
So that's been completed.
E&E stuff and our letterhead. I've updated those. If you see anything else, though, feel free to go ahead. But I've updated the ones that I could find.
Okay, very good. And then the third and final thing, this was kind of a little bit behind the scenes, but we wanted to secure what's called fictitious names in the state of Arkansas and have that be official. Essentially, what a fictitious name is another name that you may use for your business that is not your official name. So, we're the Arkansas Academy of Physician Assistants, but at times we may brand ourselves as the Arkansas Academy of PAs or the Arkansas Academy of Physician Associates. And so the state of Arkansas does have specific applications to make this legal to have control of these fictitious names. And so we now have the rights to Arkansas Academy of PAs and Arkansas Academy of Physician Associates. And we could use those as a representation of our organization as well.
Yay.
Great. Thanks for working on those. Have you
Sure.
heard? I think
And
we
that's
talked
all I have.
about oh, go ahead.
Oh, sure. That's all I have. The
all
only
you
thing is I did update and I put them in our folders. If you want to find the actual certificates for those fictitious names, they are in our shared folder on our Google account.
I was going to ask, I know we submitted for the tax exempt status. Did you hear have we heard any update on that? Like the state?
Still pending. Yeah, it's still pending. I sent it. This was like 8 weeks ago. They said it could take up to 3 months.
Okay.
Which usually when the government says it takes 3 months, it's going to take, the full 90 days. Don't call them on day 89. They'll tell you to call back tomorrow.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, yeah, great. Well, of course, let me know. I guess back to the CD then, do we want to make a motion or a vote there? Brian, do you want to make a motion?
Sure. So, let's make the motion to move forward with 30,000 as the CD value that we'll move towards at a 6-month term, and the money above and beyond 30,000, will go into the general fund.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Audra, any questions, concerns there? Otherwise, all in favor, remain silent, and anybody opposed? Okay. Ryan, let me know if there's anything else we need to do there, but I know you're on top of all that, so great.
Can do.
Any questions for Ryan or any other questions on our financial status? All right. For my student reps, do we have any updates from Harding? Rosie, I know is on. I'm not sure who else is on. It's just you. Any updates from y'all's program? UMS, any updates from either of you?
Yes, I have an update. Last Saturday was our Heroes Against Hunger 5K. It was a great success, and we are grateful for RAPA coming. We really appreciated that. We did have over 146 registered runners, and I don't have a hard number on how much we've raised, but we did break over 10,000 this year.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Glad to hear. Rosie, you said in the chat you were trying to unmute. If you are able to get on, or if you have any updates. If you can't get it, then I guess if you have any updates, type them in. Reminder, just let us know, if y'all do have any, upcoming events or anything that RAPA can help with. And just a reminder to, again, encourage your classmates to sign up for their accounts. I know that we just, received from Harding, kind of payment for their new class. And so making sure that they are registered. Oh, there you are. Yeah. Do you have any
Yeah,
updates?
so sorry.
No,
So
all good.
for the class of 2024, we don't have any updates, but I do have an estimate of the dates for the transition to practice, which are the dates when y'all came last time. So this year it'll be between December 2nd and December 11th. So I'm not sure which of those dates would be the dates that you guys could come. That would have to go to Miss Mount, but just in case somebody, just to figure out like the exact estimate-ish of the dates, in case that helps anyone.
Perfect.
But sorry for being unable to unmute. I'm a
Okay.
millennial who struggles with technology.
Well, congrats on your upcoming graduation.
Thank you.
Has the new class, I know they just started in August. Do you know if they've elected member or their officers yet?
I don't believe they have.
Well, just of course, pass on
Yeah.
info when once they do, and we'll be happy to get their class rep involved.
Yes, I will let them know. Thank you guys.
I don't think Chris is on, but our update from the medical board most recently is we did submit nominations for the subcommittee, and Sarah Van was appointed to the PA subcommittee on the board. So congratulations to her. We did reach out and inform Chris and inform the medical board of our plans to push for the licensure compact, and Carol kind of alluded to that earlier. We had some concerns from some board members about some things, so we're looking to have a meeting from AAPA to kind of just provide some more information, and are going to invite board members from the medical society, or any other interested parties to come learn more about it. And so we're hoping to get that scheduled soon. Shannon is not on. She is serving as our APA liaison, but she is the director of state advocacy something. And so I know that she's over like 20 something states right now. So her schedule is very booked, and they're looking to hire somebody else that would be more dedicated to just a smaller group of states to be able to attend more meetings. But she hasn't sent me any new updates, but we have been communicating with her a lot on our different legislative events. I wanted to give a couple just quick miscellaneous updates. We did have our student scholarship program that we started this year, which went really well. I was happy to be able to kind of get that off the ground. And so we awarded 3 different scholarships, one for a UAMS student, one for a Harding student, and then one for either for a student or a member to attend LAS. And a few students applied for that. And so these are the awardees for those. And so congratulations to them. Our UAMS and Harding representatives were both asked to serve on committees. And so we're having them kind of serve for the next year. As far as plans for next year, we're hoping to have this scholarship program again, but we do plan to move up the dates this year. We had the application around July, and I want to move it up to May just to be able to get it done a little bit sooner. That way the recipient of the LAS scholarship is able to go ahead and register and get travel plans a little sooner. This year it was pretty quick turnaround for them. So we are planning on doing our quarterly newsletter. I want to push it back a little bit to November, because I think there's a lot of quick moving updates right now, especially with legislative things. And so I think it may be better once we have some more concrete details to send out to members. So I'm planning on sending that around November 12th. I will send a reminder to the committee chairs a couple weeks ahead of that. If you guys will just send me, a blurb about your committee, or if there's anything else that, if any other members on the board have any updates or announcements that they would like to share in that newsletter, please let me know, and I'll be happy to include things like that. A couple save the dates coming up. So our conference is, of course, March 7th and 8th. If everybody will please try to attend. We'd love to have as many board members there as we can. The next AAPA Star Call is next Thursday at 7 o'clock. And so if you're interested in attending that and you don't get the emails from them, let me know, and I can always forward those invites. It's open for all constituent organization leaders, just to kind of get some updates on what's going on nationally. And then they usually leave like a Q&A and kind of discussion between different states. So it's there's usually some good updates there. And then the AAPA conference is going to be in Denver in May. Our next meetings, so we set, somebody remind me, I'm pulling up my calendar. We changed our BOD to January 28th, and so I'll update that calendar invite. And here's our next committee meetings. And so we've got all the next committees will be in November. Again, if you are interested in joining any of those committees or, continuing to participate, please plan on being those. Other than that, I don't have any updates. We are ahead of 9 o'clock tonight. That was my goal. Any questions or any other items to discuss tonight? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
Thanks, Audra. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Carol. All right. And if nobody's opposed, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you all in January.
Thank you, everybody.